Albertans will decide our own destiny.
Alberta is striking back at Donald Trump's America over trade tariffs the Premier calls an unjustified economic attack and a betrayal.
I'm not going to sugarcoat things. The road ahead is very bumpy. If these tariffs continue for months or longer, there will be significant job losses. There will be higher inflation and lost opportunity. And there will be large budget deficits.
A day after Trump tariffs of 25% on goods and 10% on oil and gas took effect, Danielle Smith dropped a 4-point plan at a press conference in Medicine Hat. The province and its agencies will stop buying American goods. Purchases of U.S. alcohol and VLT machines will stop. The government is asking grocers to buy domestic and clearly mark those products. Alberta is also encouraging new free trade agreements with other provinces. But still, the Premier is not willing to bring in export taxes on Alberta oil headed south or turn down the taps to punish U.S. drivers.
Doing so will hurt Canadians far worse than Americans should the U.S. retaliate in kind, which they will.
The Premier also repeated a desire to double Alberta's oil production and build more pipelines to unlock new markets east, west, and north. Alberta will also build 3 new vehicle inspection stations near the border to further crack down on human trafficking and fentanyl, among Trump's justifications for tariffs.
Our increased presence at the inspection station sends a very clear message that cross-border crime will be promptly identified and disrupted.
This political scientist says Alberta's response is pretty standard so far, especially with uncertainty about how long Trump's tariffs will last.
Liquor off the shelves, that'll be, very symbolic in many ways. These are measures that in some respects, they're not gonna pinch that hard.
Alberta officials did not announce any new aid packages for workers or businesses who will be impacted by the tariffs, but the Premier says they are listening to concerns about that and a new income tax cut will help. The NDP admitted some of the Premier's measures make sense, but accused her of being weak and giving in to Trump's demands. Leader Naheed Nenshi says no retaliation should be taken off the table, but stopped short of saying he'd support cutting oil exports.
Premier Doug Ford in Ontario wrapped himself in the flag, pulled out the big guns, threatened to cut off electricity. Danielle Smith went on American TV and said she was sad. In fact, she expressed surprise that her friend Donald actually did what he said he was going to do.
Trump has already softened his stance on tariffs, pausing them for automakers Wednesday. Smith, like many Canadians, hopes stock market losses and mounting pressure from Americans will soon force the U.S. president to abandon tariffs for good. From Edmonton, Sean Amato, City News.